So I wanted to speak today a little bit about honesty and spirituality. I got, and I still do, get taken down the being bloody spiritual path, and equating being spiritual with being obliging, constantly obliging, constantly working to have an open heart, constantly looking for the good in people, even when I don't have the energy to do that, becoming a doormat. Nah, that's not what this game is about. This game is about honesty and the honest appraisal of how things are for us in any given moment. Acknowledging when things feel difficult, acknowledging when things are tricky, not trying to avoid things by saying, well, I'm sure it'll all work out, or I'm sure they mean well. I mean, those, we can have that in our repertoire, and they can be true. I'm sure that everybody does mean well, or actually sometimes people don't mean well. It's just that their actions are the best that they're capable of. But that's a completely different viewpoint from kind of just slapping on what I like to call the positivity plaster. And the positivity plaster is a great way of avoiding stuff that feels uncomfortable, and maybe the acceptance that everybody isn't always kind and loving and generous, and neither are we, and thank God, because who's got the energy for that day in, day out? Look, I'm sure there are some saints out there, and great if you are, but I'm not one of them. And I don't want to be. I'd rather be honest. I'd rather be honest, because that honesty also means that I can be okay if people don't get me, or they don't. I don't have to like everybody, and everybody doesn't have to like me. But what I do need to do for my own functioning in the world is to be as honest as I possibly can about how I am in any given situation, and to go into difficult places and have difficult conversations if that's what's required. With the caveat that difficult conversations are one of my Achilles' heels, because I hate having them. So over the years, I trust the timing. I trust whether I feel like now is the right time. There was a period when I went like a bull at a gate at difficult conversations, thinking that I had to be open and honest, and I've got to just say my truth and speak my truth. And that isn't quite it either, because I think we have to be kindly honest. So rather than just coming from a place of I think this is what needs to happen, it comes from a place of I feel now is the time to have this discussion. And it normally for me comes in the form of it's going to come out right now. It's not even planned necessarily, it just comes out. There's also honesty about how we're feeling, and honesty around if we are feeling difficult things and we don't have the bandwidth. I hate that expression. It's useful. If you don't have the bandwidth for being with difficult stuff, is to nod to it, mentally nod and say, yes, I see this is difficult, but I'm not right now. Now I'm going to go and watch back-to-back Midsummer Murders, Poirot, etc. But this honesty about this is how it is, but right now I'm going to go and do A, B and C. I think this notion of being spiritual can really trip us up, because for me it's led me to believe that I need to be good. And women in particular, there's a whole bloody cultural story about being good, and I'm over being good. I don't want to be good. Good in whose eyes? I want to be peaceful, and I want to feel honest, and I want to feel, and I know that when I feel honest, I feel like I'm carrying less crap, and there is more energy free to flow. I don't even know what I mean by energy, but I just feel lighter and easier, and things become less problematic when it feels as though there is some honesty, and when I'm shining the light on stuff rather than turning away from it. So